Now, listen, you guys, there is a beef on social media that I'm failing to understand the basis of. I'm talking about Lady Gaga and Nicki Minaj being compared in as far as the albums are concerned. Now, we're also going to be discussing about this entire situation with Beyonce. It seems like people are out here clowning her, and I absolutely don't get why people are being this way towards her. And we're also going to be discussing about Kanye West and, of course, his take on Kendrick Lamar being on the Playboy Carti album, as well as the back and forth with Kim Kardashian. And we're also going to be discussing about Andrew and Charlemagne seemingly shading and clapping back at Joe Budden. When I saw that, I was like, wow, the dads are fighting. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tea Plug. I trust you guys are doing well and I trust you are doing great. Personally, I am doing great. You guys, I am doing extremely amazing. And without further ado, let us dive straight into today's tea. So first of all, let us talk about this entire Lady Gaga and Nicki Minaj comparison. Like I could literally log off Twitter today and the next day I'm seeing the Babs beefing with another new person. And I'm just like, what is going on? Because as far as I'm concerned, Nicki Minaj is a rap artist, whilst Lady Gaga is a pop artist. So I do not understand why fans of these pop girlies find the need to be comparing Nicki Minaj to every release. I guess because they do know that when it comes to the pop category, they are strong contenders that their favorites cannot contend with. So what's the next best thing to do in order to make themselves feel better is to try and beat Nicki Minaj's records? Because at the end of the day, I don't even understand why the Gaga fans decided to come through with this BS. They were literally on Nicki Minaj's case saying that, listen, why couldn't she do what Gaga was able to do? You know, Gaga was able to reheat her nachos and stuff like that. And some of them were even body shaming Nicki Minaj, saying that, oh, wow, she ate the nachos. That's why she couldn't do what Lady Gaga did. And you do know that also when the Babs are provoked, it becomes just one whole big battlefield. And that's what it became. The Babs started coming in for Gaga fans and it became a competition of let's see who's going to outdo the other artist. And honestly, this is the most ridiculous comparison that I've ever gotten. And when I tell you that Nicki doesn't just run female rap, is like generally in the female artist circles, it seems like the go-to for comparison is Nicki Minaj. Just the other time we were talking about the Beyonce fans comparing Beyonce's statistics to Nicki Minaj, who is a rapper. And for some reason, people have normalized this behavior. It could be men, it could be women, they could be rock artists, they could be country artists, they could be R&B, they could be pop. All of them, at the end of the day, you will see that they are now being compared to Nicki Minaj. And I'm like, it must be exhausting being her. I'm not sure I would be able to handle all of this. But anyway, the Babs and the Lady Gaga fans, like I told you, they went into a little back and forth, and it seems like the verdict is finally out. And it is actually being reported that Lady Gaga's album has managed to sell 219,000, and of course it did go number one on the Billboard 200. However, the Babs were like, listen, we got you, okay, now it's our time to break because your favorite wasn't even able to do what Nicki Minaj was able to do. So of course they came swinging for the Gaga fans, okay. So yeah, let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about this entire Gaga versus Nicki Minaj thing, and what you think about Nicki Minaj being able to outdo a massive pop star. And by the way, let us talk about the difference in the rollout, eh? Because I did see a lot of babs coming for Nicki Minaj saying that, well, she didn't have a good rollout. She should have done it like Gaga. Gaga, like, really did have a very good rollout, a very solid rollout, okay? But Nicki, on the other hand, was just doing a thing and, you know, people were down talking a lack of videos and stuff like that. But even without any videos, this is what she's able to do. And this is exactly why people say that Nicki is in a league of her own. You cannot compare her to her fellow female rappers because none of them can go toe to toe with, with pop artists. None of them can do that. So once again, Nicki Minaj has managed to beat the odds without the rollout that people were crying for, without reheating the nachos that people were begging for. And this is how much of a strong fan base Barbs are. And I will always give them their flowers. They don't just do the talking on Twitter. At least that's one thing that I can say. Listen, even if the Barbs were to come swinging and hard on Twitter and stuff like that, they can, their words actually match their actions. They don't just go on Twitter saying, she's this, she's that. No, no, no. They will go out here and prove that point. And that's a plus, in my own opinion. The next thing that we're going to be talking about, you guys, we're going to talk about this entire Beyonce Cowboy Carter tour. Yo, it has really been chaotic in the streets, you guys, when it comes to this tour because people have been throwing shade left, right, and center to the point where I'm like, guys, don't you think you're doing a little bit too much? And I'm shocked to see the streets reacting this way because it seems like almost everyone is like, oh, wow, she overestimates herself, this and that, this and that. Personally, I do really just think that it's because maybe her fans just, I mean, it's just now that they had the Renaissance tour, you guys, and you do know that Beyonce tickets are not cheap. So I just feel like it's an issue where the people just don't have the money, in my own opinion. I really don't think that this is hair falling off. Now, do I think that Cowboy Carter is one of her best albums? I mean, I did say it during the Grammys that I didn't think that it was that amazing. And I could see why maybe majority of her fans do not truly relate it. As fans, I do know that sometimes people still go out of their ways, to support an artist that they love. But then when it comes to actually spending a lot of money on, buying tickets for a tour based on that album, not many people would be willing to go to, a tour like that. If it were something like the Lemonade tour, I'm sure, I promise you, it would have been different right now. And some people are also saying that, oh my God, she's trying to match Taylor's numbers. Oh my goodness, this is what happens because you're not as popular as Taylor Swift. It's just chaos. And news platforms are out here basically shading Beyonce. Like, I'm not kidding. Let me just insert what they had to say. And they were like, it seems like, well, the single ladies are staying at home. And I was like, what's up with this unnecessary shade? What is happening? What's in the air that I do not know? Some people were also joking that, listen, that show is going to be gone by tomorrow morning because Jay-Z is going to have them handled. Do you think that Jay-Z is that powerful when it comes to ending a show like that? Let me know in the comment section what you think about that. But in the meantime, allow me to insert the audio of these women just shading Beyonce out of nowhere.
It looks like all the single ladies are staying home as Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour is struggling. Entertainment expert with the scoop. All right, let's talk about tickets for Beyonce's 2023 Renaissance tour. They were a hot item. The tour grossed over $500 million. What's going wrong here?
A lot going wrong here. So unfortunately, I think they oversold or were oversold on the idea of a Cowboy Carter tour. Now, here's the deal. When it premiered, it did hit number one for 2 weeks, but then the numbers cratered and it sold 70,000 copies. However, compare that to something like the Tortured Poets Department, that sold 2.6 million on its debut. It just kind of cratered. It was a miscalculation to call for a tour. The album was fine. She won a Grammy. Yeah, this is great. She did not win a Country Music Award. Several reasons. Number one, she said she alluded to the fact that she had never felt welcomed by the community.
Right.
Then she said this is not a country album. This is a Beyonce album, further alienating the country music fans.
Right.
And also kind of not bringing in any new fans. Now, her actual fans right now are economically exhausted.
Right.
Remember, she just went on tour 2 years ago, and the prices, as you know, were very different. So, I mean, you were just telling me that you saw her 2 years ago.
I did. And Beyonce, I bought tickets for Cowboy Carter. Those tickets were $100. The same seat for Taylor Swift was $900. Same exact seat. I mean, it's an $800 difference.
Well, there you heard that, you guys. There you heard that. Now, the next thing that we're going to be talking about, you guys, we are going to be talking about this entire situation with Kanye West. Kanye, Kanye, Kanye. How many times did I call you? Okay. This man is coming out here letting us know that, well, he has issues with Kim Kardashian trademarking their children's names until they are 18 because Kim allegedly refused to clear not for a Diddy song. Okay. So anyway, he decided to share the messages between himself and Kim Kardashian, and it does seem like he is threatening, Kim to say, "Listen, you have to undo what you have done." And it's just so sad, man. It's said that this is even a conversation. Like, what do you mean you're threatening this woman to clear North to be on a Diddy song? Like, oh, this man is a lot of work. But anyway, the text messages read, "I'm never speaking to you again." And then Kim said, "I asked you at the time if I can trademark her name. You said yes. When she's 18, it goes to her. So stop. I sent paperwork over so she wouldn't be in the Diddy song to protect her. One person has to trademark. We agreed when they were born, I would get all of our kids' names and trademarks so no one else would take them." And then Kanye responded and said, "Amend it or I'm going to war. And neither of us will recover from the public fallout. You're going to have to K me." And I'm just like, what are you even saying, Kanye? Oh my God, this man really does need help. This man needs help. Why would you want to change your daughter's name with the Diddler, anything related to the Diddler? What is this? I really do feel bad for Kim, you guys, honestly, because procreating with someone like this can be a handful. Oh my God. Anyway, let me know in the comment section what you think about all of this. The next thing that we're going to be talking about, still talking about Kanye West, it seems like he wasn't feeling Kendrick's part on the Cutty album. And in true Kanye style, of course, he did not hold back. It was basically expressing his disappointment with Kendrick featuring on the Playboy Carti album. Now, it seems like for some reason people feel like they've heard too much of Kendrick. I do not know what is happening, honestly, because you would have thought that maybe 2025, I mean, it was just going to be like this, seeing that people love Kendrick. So I'm surprised, as to why people are reacting this way. What's happening really in the streets? I'm curious to know. So let me know in the comment section, what do you think went wrong with Kendrick and, everything that went down after the beef? Because, I mean, he is the king of hip hop right now. He's the popping. He's the one who's supposed to be giving people features and their songs would be climbing the charts like that. What is happening? The next thing that we're going to be talking about, we're going to talk about Charlemagne and his friend slash handler, Andrew the comedian. I hope you caught what I was about to say. Yes, Andrew the comedian. They're out there seemingly throwing shade towards Joe Budden. They are saying that, listen, these reactor podcasts, are so bold to criticize other people because they've never put anything out there that is worth the criticism. But Joe was a rapper, wasn't he? So he does know what it is like to be criticized. So I don't know why that shade was like that. And I do find it interesting that it's also coming from Charlamagne. Yeah, Leonard's whole career is criticism and all of these things, reviewing other people's work. So I don't understand why he feels like he can say whatever he wants to say about certain artists, but the likes of Joe Budden cannot say that. Not that I care about any of them, either of them, okay? I don't care about, Joe Budden. I don't care about Charlemagne the God. But I do find it pretty hypocritical for Charlemagne to want to sit there with Andrew acting like, oh my God, they don't react to stuff themselves when that's all they do. At least Joe Biden will react to something that is actually listened to. The same cannot be said about the Breakfast Club. They will literally run to say, Nicki Minaj's tickets are not sold out. They don't even know what they're talking about. Nicki Minaj's album is not hitting when they don't even know what they're talking about. Drake's album is bad and they don't even know what they're talking about. Yet he has the audacity to sit there with a friend, handler. But anyway, I will insert you guys what they had to say. And I don't think that after that I'll be coming back. So that being said, thank you very much, you guys, for watching. And thank you very much for making it this far. If you have not already, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button and do turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified each and every time that I post. And until my next one, see you.
Explain.
Like, the second your name garners views, people will use your name
to get views and make
absolutely.
a living and react to your stuff,
Absolutely.
whatever like that. Like, obviously, we know there's so much like reaction content out right now. And yeah, there's another thing just about like reaction content in general. It's like, yeah, it's very popular. It is what it is. It's very popular. But and then once you get to a certain amount of followers and a certain amount of success, people use your name for those views. And that's like part of being successful. Like, you have to pay the cost of that. But my reaction to that was just like, I'm just going to ignore it and keep on putting out art.
Yes.
Yes, but also, you also got to snipe when it's ready to snipe. You also got to take exact shots. You don't have to talk about the people. You could sub the people so you're not actually saying their name.
Oh, subs are so good.
Oh, and then hit the
There was a time I didn't used to like subs, but subs are so
it's almost better. Because then they come screaming. You're like, what are you talking about?
The subs I like is when you're not even subbing a person, but the person, and by the way, they should do that. If I was a person who had a podcast about podcasts, or I was a person who did reaction videos, even if I wasn't subbing that person directly, I would take the clip and say that person's talking about me.
Oh, and they will.
Why not?
100%.
It don't hurt.
100%.
Because the 3,000 people that watch that, those individuals will be like, yo.
For that specific reason, that's another reason why, like, I don't want to make it about the Kendrick thing, but like, I didn't respond to the Kendrick thing for 2 weeks until I got confirmation. Because before, I'm like, I'm not going to go say response. I don't even know if it's about me. Then once I get some confirmation, I go, okay, whatever. We feel a little bit more confident.
Bro, you're promoting a special. It's okay. Like, we don't got to fucking make.
Nah, you're right.
Why are we complicating this?
Yeah,
Like,
right,
somebody
right.
said that to me the other day. They were talking about we were talking about Stephen A. Smith, and they were saying how Stephen A. Smith is going on this press tour for LeBron, and you know, they was like, Andrew's still talking about Kendrick, whatever. I'm like, why not?
Well, they're asking me.
And that's what I said.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, yo, when Stephen A's going on these platforms, they're asking him. When Andrew's going on these platforms, they're asking Andrew. But why wouldn't you?
So here's the thing.
And by the way, you're talking about two of the greatest goats of all time in their field.
Right, of
So you got
course.
LeBron in the NBA. Why wouldn't Stephen A talk about it? You got Kendrick in rap. Why wouldn't people ask you about it? Why wouldn't you talk about it?
Every single person can ask me 100%. Okay, so what I was saying about like being offensive, right? So knowing when you got to like take shots at certain people and like squash certain narratives, and me for the most part, I kind of just ignored it. I was like, I'm just going to keep on putting out great shit and think that's what it is. That only works for your core fans. The casuals really only consume the hate.
They only know you from that. Somebody might only know you from that.
They only know you for the hate. So you almost have empathy for their perspective on you because all they know is a headline and like a line that you say out of context, right? And I'm that way with people. That's how I think of Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle could be the nicest woman on the planet. I only know a headline and something she says out of context, and I'm like, what a raging.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. When
Yeah, that's why. See, that's why they don't like you.
no, I'm calling myself out. I'm calling myself out.
They're going to take the clip, and all you're going to hear is Andrew Schultz calls Meghan Markle a raging B word.
Damn, bro.
God
Damn, what the hell
I
is
understand
wrong?
what you're trying to explain, but
Okay.
shit.
So, and then here's another thing I realized, right? So it's like, I brought all these like different, I try to bring all these different people on my podcast, right? And I'm like, one, because I'm really curious about different
Right.
people and I want other perspectives. And then there's another part of it, which where it's like, I want people to know that about me, that I am curious in all these different perspectives, right? Casuals don't listen to your pod.
No.
They only consume what hits their airwaves. So I realized when I was going to all these different pods, like the best conversations are the ones where that person thinks I am one way and then we get to discuss it. Because what you think of me, if you're just like reading headlines and that kind of stuff, you find out is quite different once we sit down and have a
And
conversation.
have a conversation, and then they get mad because they like you. Then they get mad because they feel like they actually understand you. But what you said
And
about
that's the difference, sorry to cut you, between like for example, when Shannon's putting out clips on the internet, it's the casuals that already think a way about me or attach themselves to the clip. And then you look at the episode and the reactions are completely different because it's people actually listening to the conversation
Absolutely.
and getting this like holistic view. So now I realize like I got to go out there and I got to do more of these pods. I got to do other people's stuff. But I'm the last year, I'm like, I'm busy. I'm touring. I'm doing pods and I'm a dad. So where's this time?
that is a very interesting perspective. I feel like personally, and I could be wrong about this, I don't feel like you should go on any of the runs unless you're actually promoting something. But the reality is we're always promoting something. Like if we wanted to, we could go out and promote Brilliant Idiots all day. You could promote Flagrant all day. Like, you know, I'm on Breakfast Club every morning. We could. I got books The books are always out. Audible originals are always out. You got specials out. You could always promote shit if you wanted to.
But I also feel like you did that early in your career. Like, you would go on Fox on Kennedy's show. Like, you would go on, but you'd also do Daily Show. You do these different things, and you put yourself in these different spaces. And then those people were forced to consume you at home, not at an away game. When they come to watch our pod, that's an away game for them. But when you go to their favorite podcaster, that's going into their home. So it's very hard when you're in someone's home and you're willing to talk about whatever. Because that's why I say every person I had an interview with, I go, ask me whatever you want to ask me.
Get it out. It's interesting, right? That's why I've always, even with Brilliant Idiots, remember, I used to always say, like, this is for the people who listen. This is for our Brilliant Idiots collective. But goddamn, this shit done leaked out to the world.
I said that I was doing an interview with Will Kane at Fox News today.
Kane.
And I told him, and I said something to the Fox News people. I was like, listen, whatever one of you is assigned to the Brilliant Idiots podcast.
Thank you.
You're doing a fantastic job. But low-key, to Will's credit, he said that he was like, I think you guys are the most important show in politics right now.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm like, what's it calling it? But he's like, paraphrasing it, but he's essentially like, you guys are friends that are having good faith conversations about political issues instead of two different teams that are trying to win.
Dunk on each other. Yeah.
And he's right though.
That's true. Somebody at MSNBC told me that. I'm not going to say her name because I don't know if she wants to be put out there like that. But she said the same thing.
Who?
I don't want to say, but I think I sent it to you. I sent you the. I told you about it. Yeah, she said the same thing for that exact same reason. Yeah. And listen, I don't know if that's true or not. I enjoy doing anything. I go to Breakfast Club every day. You know why? Because I enjoy doing that. Because whatever's happening in that room is a good faith conversation.
That shit was fun, bro.
I love doing Brilliant Idiots because whatever's happening here is a good faith conversation.
Yeah.
Like, these are people that I talk to all the time. Me, Shulz, Chris, Taylor. Like, that's actually what gets you in trouble.
Bro, what is?
When you're just too comfortable.
Yeah.
It's the best entertainment.
Because you start getting loose and you stop being protective of what you say. And then once you're really being loose, what you say can be, set out of context. But in retrospect, like, I'm thinking about all these things, like when Ryan Clark put out that 10-minute soliloquy.
You got to go on the pivot, Joe.
No, that's immediately. I'm like, I should have immediately been like, all right, let's discuss it.
Let's go on the pivot.
You have a lot of opinions on me. Why don't we have a conversation about those opinions?
Yeah.
I should go.
Did they reach out?
You know what's funny? It's like they had, I think Shahidi is involved in it. And
who the fuck is that?
I think he's the guy who he runs Nelk and he runs a few other pods. So he was asking me way early on. But since then, no, they haven't. But absolutely.
All the reason I said that because I've heard you mention him. I heard you mentioned him on Breakfast Club. You mentioned him on Shay Shay.
Yeah.
I think
I want to go. I think
you and Ryan would have a fantastic conversation.
It's the same thing that we do with every one of these people. It's like, of course, we're going to have a good conversation because I'm not there to make you look stupid. I'm going to listen to what you have to say. Like, I'm going to give you, when you make good points, I'm never going to discredit the good point that you make.
The Pivot is one of my favorite podcasts. That is a place, we got to start saying that more. That is a place where good faith conversations happen.
There we go.
There's not a lot of platforms nowadays that are having good faith conversations. People are either doing things for ratings or they're setting this conflict shit up for views and likes and things. Who's having good faith conversations? We should start talking about those platforms more.
100%.
The Pivot with, Channing and Fred and Ryan, they always have good faith conversations, which is why a lot of men go in there and be so vulnerable.
Because they feel safe.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
And that's the other thing, which I guess I should have been more forthcoming with it. I guess there's this part of me that's like, I'm like, if you want to talk about me in this situation, just message me, call me. You can get in touch with me through you. It's so easy to get in contact with me. So when there isn't that effort to get in contact with me, I'm like, oh, you guys are just going after clout. Because you could talk to me and I would come on your pod and I would talk to you. There's not a person I won't sit down and talk to.
Yeah.
If they've built something. If you're just a random person with a fucking TikTok account, just bickering, you haven't built something to justify the conversation. If you're someone who's built something, I admire that. If you're putting things out every single week and you're willing to be judged by the world, I admire that.
It's noticeable. I mean, listen, here's the thing. You're only going to talk about somebody you respect. I'm not going to let your name come out of my mouth if I don't respect you.
I said that. I said that on Shannon. I think that they're really good.
Yeah.
I compliment it. I said this about Kendrick too. I admire people who put out art to be judged. That's a vulnerable, scary thing to do.
Yeah.
I admire that. Like, do I disagree on certain things? Yeah. But I still admire, if you're a reaction channel, most of you have never put out something to be judged. You don't know what it's like to work really hard on something, give it out there to the world for them to hate it or love it. That's a vulnerable, scary thing. You just hate things. Like,
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. Me and Ak was having a conversation, and I was thinking about, like, why don't I respect the reaction channels anymore? I used to enjoy them for entertainment, and that was what the reason was.
There's no vulnerability in it.
Not only is there no vulnerability,
No
in
art,
it,
yeah.
you know why we love First Take? You know why we love, like, we'll watch Fox Sports?
Yeah.
Because they'll have people on there who've actually either played the game or been so involved